Mark.
Hi, Nicole. Can you hear me? There you go.
I can hear you now. I wasn't a panelist, but now that I am, I can talk back. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Teresa?
Ready?
I just want to, yeah, they should be able to hear us. So, yeah, we're ready. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to call the Central Board of Architectural Review January 16th, 2026 meeting to order. Are there any members of the public who wish to address the board regarding an item that is not on today's agenda? I'm not seeing anybody.
And then it's the online. So if you're online and wish to speak on an item not on today's agenda, please raise your hand. Not seeing a raised hand, so no public comment.
Okay, the second item is the chair and vice chair election. I'm going to nominate.
For vice chair.
Yeah, okay. Oh dear.
Do you need a nomination?
Well, I'm not nominating myself. This is a thankless task.
I nominate Bethany.
Any other nominations? All right, all in favor?
Can I get a second for that? Thank you.
That was Chris. You didn't see his eyeballs.
Oh, okay.
All right. Remember recusals?
And then, sorry, for vice chair, who would
Me.
second that? So
He did too.
you did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it? Everything neat? All right. Member recusals? None today? No. Agenda status report?
No changes to the agenda.
Okay, the minutes, I just have the one correction, which I already pointed out to you,
Yes.
which is Andrew wasn't in fact here last time, and so he just needs to be on the absent.
I'll make a motion for approval of the minutes with the note that Andrew was not.
Okay, I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I abstain.
Okay, so one abstention and Lowell is voting today when necessary.
Okay.
Okay. Informational briefings? I don't have anything.
No.
I haven't heard anything on the fire or anything yet. So we'll see what happens. Staff update, Nicole, do you have anything for us?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sounds like not.
Uh-oh. Your hand is up.
Let's see. They were able to hear because I asked.
Okay.
I can hear you, but you can't.
Apparently we can't hear her. You checking the chat?
Yeah, I'm gonna send her a chat picture.
Do you want me to do the consent agenda while we see?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, so let's do the consent agenda, and then we'll come back to the vote. Are you sure there were no comments? We didn't say anything except for it's approved. Return for final on consent?
That's all it was.
That's all there was. Okay, so we just need to go through it here.
Okay, Nicole, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ah,
Good.
And we can hear you even better. You want to do the staff update real quick?
Yes, a couple items coming up at the Planning Commission that you might be interested in on January 28th at the Planning Commission. There's a project called the DMF Residential Development, which is one house, an ADU and a JADU. Quite a while back, you reviewed the house and a guest house on the property. The design hasn't changed, but this is south of Highway 101. It's a 15-foot tall building in the view corridor, critical view shed corridor for the Gaviota Coast Plan out in the Gaviota area. So that might be of interest to you. It is a project that you reviewed previously quite a while ago, but we're now at the Planning Commission on appeal from a prior zoning administrator approval. That's on my team. And then another item coming up is on in February. Let's see, there's going to be updates from long range planning on February 25th, 2026. That will be the 2025 Comprehensive Plan Annual Progress Report if you're interested in the status of work that our Long Range Planning Division is working on. And then on February 8th is the utility scale solar project, solar amendments project, if you're interested in that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Is the one on 25th and 26th, is Alex Tuttle doing that? Is that one?
In February?
Yeah.
That will be Alex Tuttle's staff.
Yeah.
It's going to be presented by Daniel Moore, but yeah, that's his division. Yes.
Just wanted to make sure I was thinking about the same meeting.
Okay, consent agenda. Item number 1, 25 bar 88, Auto Qualified Domestic Trust Patio Cover. And I don't think we had any comments. Let me get it back there. Just that one.
Should I bring them forward?
Yeah, you might have, yeah. And then I think just walk us through this, Brett, just page by page, just make sure we've got it all.
Yeah, morning.
Good morning.
Marchie, architect.
Keep going.
Yeah, we're in essence trying to get approvals for COVID expansion patio. And the only changes that have occurred since we were here last, we took the parking off of this around the building because it's in the public right of way. So that's gone, but that's the parking. And then the next page, we've, 2.1, we've shown the parking that's available around the site.
Go back up to 2.1. Up. There.
Yeah.
So that's the parking.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Parking spaces around the site. And then back to 820 on the site plan. We had swinging doors on the trash enclosure to the left of the line there. And that went into the public right away. And we,
So you pulled them out.
yeah, so we put a roll up door. But it all looks the same.
Okay. Let's go down.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay. One more. Yep. That's it. Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for final approval.
I'll second the motion.
Chris seconded. Any further discussion? Public comment?
Yeah. Did
I
we have?
was getting
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Out of order.
Do we have any public comment? I mean, we didn't receive any here. If you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand.
Consent.
Okay, no public comment.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, there you go.
It's been a very pleasant Seabar experience.
Don't say that with such shock.
He's the one.
I know. Yeah. Okay, number 2, 20 bar 00079, Dr. Creek Development Plan.
Hello, Jessica Carlone here with RA and Associates, representing my client. Hello.
Yep, we're here. We're waiting
Okay.
for it to get up there. Yeah, I did, thank you.
Okay, I wasn't sure if anybody could hear me.
Okay, yes, why don't you walk us through, starting with the site location? It's been a while since you've been here. Do we have minutes?
Okay, let's see here.
No, I didn't.
I
I
don't-
re-noticed it, but
Yeah,
bring
hold
them
on,
up.
hold on a second.
Okay.
She needs to pull up the past comments, and we'll need them for everything. Excuse me. Well, it's got a 20 bar number, so.
it was last heard June 2020.
June 2020.
And we didn't have comments?
She's looking for them. Yeah. We'll do it by Zoom. These would have all been Zoom. June 2020 returns. And we saw it, we had a lot of comments. But this is for an as-built. These are as-built.
Oh.
Okay. Find them?
Yep, they're on the screen.
Oh, okay. Nope. I got it. Just got to get the other glasses. Okay. Our comments from last time were regarding under site design. An overall master plan of the project would allow CBAR to provide substantive comments. B, provide consideration of the design from a holistic viewpoint regarding how pedestrians will travel throughout the site, how the pool area is designed, and how the site is landscaped. Piecemealing causes difficulty in providing comments on site circulation, design, program, and layout. Regarding the pool, Buellton is notoriously windy. In order to create a welcoming environment year-round, use landscape to mitigate heat and wind at the pool area. Consider the landscape in more detail. The pool design has serious pinch points as it does not have provision for outdoor furniture. More detail is required. C, research pools at San Jacinto Ranch and in Napa area to provide context for successful pool designs in a similar environment. 3, Building D. We're concerned about the siting of Building D. Given the lack of stated intention about Building D and the corresponding lack of attention to the siting of Building D, we request that the applicant restudy the building's use, siting, etc., and return with additional information. Not enough detail has been provided in order to provide substantive comments on Building D. CBAR considers all 4 sides. 3 sides are essentially blank. I think there's a little more. 4, paving and parking. How will people get out of the ADA parking space when a wall, if only 4 feet away? When there's a wall 4 feet away. There needs to be more trees in the parking lot. Concerned about the proximity of asphaltic concrete paving to 72-inch oak proposed to be preserved. ADA ramp placement is not the best. Take this process as an opportunity to reduce paving. And that was for conceptual review, and I believe you are here for as-built conditions.
Yes. Unfortunately, I wasn't a part of the project during this particular review back in 2020. But I can best describe what we have provided the client with. These are the drawings that we created based off of as-built conditions. Do you want me to still go through the description and location and all that, or do you just want me to go run through the plans and update you guys on what is there now?
I think you should start where you started and are most comfortable and walk us through the project and your approach. Because we're
Okay.
taking it from where it is.
Okay. Well, just to get everybody acquainted with where this project is located, it's in Buellton at 1297 Jonata Park Road. It's in a commercial highway zone. And it's a 2.86 acre lot. What existed prior to these other buildings that we as-built it were this building here. Oh, I don't know if do I need to, can you guys see my pointer, or do I just kind of describe it?
You just have to describe it.
Okay, so then if you go back to the cover sheet, we have building A and building B, which were previously approved. I'm not sure through CBAR, but they were certainly have building permits and whatnot.
That's A, that's B.
Yeah, A is to the west at the front, and then B is just to the, the east. Existing permitted building A, which is along the frontage of Jonata Park Road. And then building B is just behind it to the west. And then there was also to the north east corner of the lot, there was an existing caretaker unit that has now been converted to to some guest units and an office. Those are more of private guest units. And then let's see, to the west of building B, we have an as-built full snack bar / pizzeria. There's being proposed pool equipment room, as-built pool, and then just above the pool is a as-built ceremony area, which is basically just an open area. If you want to scroll down to the photos, we can kind of look at those. Let's see, photo, if you can scroll down a little bit. Okay, so the ceremony area is, if you look at photo number 9, just to give you an idea of what it looks like, and the oak is pretty much the same. So 9, 10, and 11 show that area from different perspectives. If you go back to the top there for photo 1, that's the frontage right in front of the old caretaker unit. And of course the Zaca Creek entrance sign. The privacy wall for photo number 3 is located at the south property line, and it runs all the way the entire length of the property line. Number 5 is just an example of the parking lot lighting. Let's see. And then photo number 6 is of the existing permitted building B, which is the banquet hall. And then photos number 7 and 8, those are showing the accessible ramp that goes up to the area. And if you want to go ahead and scroll down, let's see here. Much. Okay, so there is the clients do want to propose a decorative clock tower, which is photo number 13. That's not built, but they do want to propose that, and it'll basically, all the finishes will basically match the existing facility. Photos number 14, 15, and 16 are the old caretaker unit. It's now converted to the guest units and office space. You want to go ahead and go down to the next page. Okay, these are photos of the pool area and the snack bar / pizzeria and equipment room. Also, photo number 4 shows the accessible ramp that goes down to the parking lot. The owners are proposing fencing for the pool area. So kind of just provided an example photo of what the fencing will look like. If you want to go ahead and scroll down to the floor plan area, let's see. Floor plan out. We've got exterior elevations for you, and then just the little pool equipment room. Okay, next page. This is the old caretaker unit, which we did add some square footage to add the rear guest unit next to the office there. I provided some colors and materials of what's existing, and then some examples of the lighting that's there. I did provide a decorative wall section at the decking that's in front of this these guest units. That's pretty standard throughout the site. It's similar in some areas. Go ahead and scroll down a little bit. These are the exterior elevations that we provided. And then I did include the old floor plan layout, or the existing floor plan layout of the caretaker unit. So just to give you an idea of what was there before. And I think, let's see, what's the next page? Okay, that's the most recent topographic survey that was done. So that's just for reference as far as what's there, what trees are existing and whatnot. So that'll be helpful for that part. Anybody has any questions?
Yeah, you kind of zipped by it, but if you look at sheet A1-0,
Okay.
you got this nice little legend here. I want to explain what's going on here. On the site plan, the
Oh,
green,
yes.
orange, and the green.
Okay. So let me see if I can get mine. I'm going to pull mine up on my screen real quick so I can
No, just,
zoom in.
you might want to zoom out.
All right, so let me go
There you go.
down here. So the yellow, let's see. Well, okay, we did. I know you guys are just reviewing the DVP for this project, but we do have a MCUP that's going along side with this. So the yellow area is basically just proposed areas for ceremony and reception areas that they're planning to have some events 12 times a year, or 12 times each year. So that's mainly for the MCUP, but that will kind of show you.
But it's specifically relating to the as-built, right?
Specifically relating to the as-built is going to be there's the as-built pool and as-built snack bar encroaches into the rear setback. So
And the pool equipment is completely within the rear setback.
yes, however, there was an exception, as long as you had compensating area, within the setback, they were allowing us to keep those as-built buildings within the setback. So the green here at the bottom left corner, that is a compensating area that's being utilized for the exception of that rear setback encroachment. So yeah, so mainly
Yeah.
it's going to be the as-built pizzeria area, and then the as-built pool equipment room, and then the ceremony areas. All this in yellow here will probably be just the areas where we're trying to get approved by CBAR.
So what is the green designating again? I mean, what's the purpose? That space that it's, yeah, what is it, dedicated in perpetuity?
Let me see if I can find that document. It's
What's the deal? What does this actually mean?
well,
I
it's
don't,
basically in the municipal code. There's an exception to being able to have structure within the.
yeah, I understand that. I understand it's a swap, but I don't understand what happens to the green area moving forward. Is it serving in lieu of the encroachment, meaning you can't do anything in there?
Yeah, I believe it's
Part of the encroachment? I mean,
there's an allowed square footage for structure within the site. So yeah, that you basically won't be able to build anything in that area.
Is it underneath an oak or a
Yep.
different kind of tree?
it's an oak.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Is anything else I mean, we've gone through all of the plans. Does that kind of conclude what you needed to present?
Yes.
Do we have any questions before we go to public comment? I have a lot.
Have we identified the building previously called Building D?
Building
No.
B.
Yes.
Yeah, from the minutes, what is building D?
Oh, Building D. Okay, so Building D, that used to be that was from the previous architect that worked on it, and they were trying to propose another building on the site. So that Building D went away since 2020.
And where was the location for that?
That was located, if I can recall, I believe it's near where that green compensating area is.
I kind of.
But it was a lot larger, of course, I believe. Let me see if I can find that drawing.
It's gone away, so
It's okay.
Okay.
you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And is Kathleen on the call?
She is not. She's out of the office today.
Okay. Well,
Of course.
I don't see the clock tower listed in the project description.
Okay, let's see here.
I'm curious
It's,
if that would be a part of the development plan or not.
So it is located, I believe, right. It's right next to the sentence where it says the following structures
That's
exist.
not on the project description.
No, it's not in the project description.
Oh, on the plans.
Oh, no, it is.
Yeah,
An 120 square foot
Yeah.
clock tower.
There you go.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about, do you have any drawings for the proposed decorative clock tower?
Right. That's the next
Yeah.
question.
I do not. But yeah, I would have to coordinate that with the owner. We don't currently have the proposed decorative clock tower drawings. However, I do know that the materials and whatnot will all match what's out there now.
Well, Bethany, are we doing questions?
Yes,
Okay. So today, because there are these things like
yes.
there are no drawings for these new proposed things,
Sure.
we're simply approving what exists. I believe, is that your understanding?
We are reviewing betwixt and between, as you know, because basically we are reviewing this as though nothing's been built. Because it's a proposed plan. However, the case exists that it does exist. And then there's this mitigation for the
Well,
setback.
and then the things that are proposed but are not that we don't have drawings for,
Yes,
is just muddying up the waters a bit.
even more. Yes,
So,
correct.
Moving forward.
Well, the further complicating this is that this is kind of a generic, and the planner's not here, and this is a generic memo.
Yeah,
It gives us no guidance about where it is in the process or.
so one of my main questions is, with this development, do you have a stormwater management plan? And how is that integrated into your landscape plan? Because you have a lot of impervious surface.
Was that question for me? Sorry.
Yes, it is, sorry.
Okay, a stormwater management plan, we do not have, we are currently, we finally got a letter of completeness for the DVP review. So it's currently being reviewed. We are waiting for, let's see. Let me pull that up real quick. We are waiting for them to complete the review now that we have a complete application. It's being reviewed by EHS currently for the pool, also for the snack bar. I am coordinating some last items with Waste Management in regards to trash bins, which we are placing in the existing service yard. So there's a few minor items that I'm working on there. And then also there is a design exception that is being done through Public Works and Transportation. They do a traffic study as well as a sound study. So we do have those documents. But as far as the stormwater control plan, we do not have one of those as of yet.
And Fire has approved this plan.
Fire, I believe, did we get?
I just don't like to get too far down the road.
Yeah, Fire has looked at it, and I believe they have approved it, or we do have I think we have a letter from them. I'll have to go back and look through my files. This has been a long process for us, so and it's been quite a few years that we've had this project. Yeah, I believe Fire has looked at it from the DVP perspective.
Okay.
I just have a couple other questions. The lighting that is being proposed, it's all night sky that exists and that we have not reviewed but are reviewing now.
Yes.
It's all night sky compliant and you have drawings to substantiate that?
Yes, we actually did send that information over to planning. And of course, they did provide us with those requirements. So that,
Package that we're approving today.
excuse me?
You've included dark sky compliant lighting for all these structures as part of this package.
Yes.
Okay,
You want copies for this?
okay, and,
I just have a general comment.
yeah, well, we're still doing questions, I haven't even gotten to public comment, so. You got a question? Are you done?
No, you're done.
Just for now.
Okay, Esme, maybe if we went to the existing photos sheets, could you just really quickly summarize for me what the as-built items are? I counted 6 or 7.
Okay.
I kind of lost track.
Okay. And as-built items are, we can go back to photo 1. Just to scroll up a little bit there. Okay, so the treehouse, this wall along here will be included. They did add some finishes to this existing signage here, where Zaca Creek entrance. They kept the structure but added some finishes, also to support it. It was starting to fall apart. So
Can you go to this plan?
Esme, is that the one that's listed here as the 480 lineal foot wall with varying height?
okay, for number 1, yes. Let's see.
Or the 120?
So the picture number 1, the treehouse, that's, why?
It's kind of trying to match.
Yeah, that is their. Let me see if I can read that for you. Let's see. That is the 180 lineal feet wall.
Which way do you want to do this, Denise? Do you want to go through the agenda?
I just really would like to know what the
What's
as,
going on?
what, just a simple list of the as-built that we're supposed to be reviewing.
Okay, let's just start with the agenda.
And so maybe, I guess the
As-built development consisting of 1,276 square foot guest room structure with attached square foot deck. That is this area here, correct?
Yes.
but is that as-built right there?
Yes.
Yes.
This is all as-built. This is the tree deck. This is that tree house picture that we just looked at, right?
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
And then I get that we have a pizzeria snack bar.
that's down here.
Yes. As built. We did note as built on that. So on the drawings, we did note as built.
Yep, let's just let us get it through it real quick so we all are on the same page.
Okay, and then we have a pool,
That's this right here.
and the pool equipment structure.
That's this other one completely in the setback, yes. Accessible ramp to pool, that's this thing here.
That is right next to the as built
Down
pizzeria.
here.
Yes.
So it's not indicated in cream on our plans, but it is this accessible ramp down here,
Yes.
okay?
So we don't know what it's made of necessarily. Okay, so and then 720 lineal feet of 42-inch high stone veneer wall on both sides of the ramp. Oh, I see. Okay, got that.
330 linear feet of stone
I
veneer
think
walls.
that's
That's up here, that's this.
or is it around the ramp?
Well, that was the first one. And then the next one down is 330 linear feet of stone veneer walls enclosing the ceremony area, the oak.
Yeah.
So that's this up here. Okay?
Mhm.
Which was originally built on the adjacent property and cut the corner off.
Yeah, I'm seeing it go up and it well, I guess, wall with lattice.
That's the same one. It's ranging from 42 to 84 inches tall with the inclusion of a lattice finish on portions.
And that's around the pool.
No, that's around the oak. That's around this area here.
Okay. Oh, I mean, yeah. Sorry, and then the 180 lineal feet of wall, that's 3 feet 8 inches to 11 feet tall? Where's that?
We're reading through the agenda here.
Okay, yeah, that is, let's see.
I think it's describing the area around the oak. I think it's all
Yeah,
the same.
there's some walls on the back, on the northern part of the oak that are shorter. So the front wall there that's more to the south, that one's a little bit taller, obviously, because you're going down. There's a drop there, but on the back side, it's a lot lower next to the oak. So that's describing just some of the walls that's there in that area.
Okay,
And then,
so the walls, the enlarged caretaker space, the pizzeria, the pool enclosure, the pool, and all these different walls that are as built.
Yes.
yeah, and not really shown except for the picture, 6 foot tall pool fencing with gates to enclose pool. And do you have an indication of where that fencing is going?
Yeah, it is showing. It is showing up there on the site plan.
Okay.
It's basically just surrounding. It is going to go along from the pool snack bar, and it's going to follow along the western property line up to the oak area. That's why it's kind of hard to see because it's like right up next to the.
And all the way, so we're basically doing a lap all the way around here.
Yes, just to keep it enclosed.
Okay.
So that wall, that fence or that wall is not existing, it's to be built. Is that what
The
you're
fence is to be built.
Yeah.
Yes, the fence is proposed. It's not as built.
saying? It didn't have a fence.
No, they don't have a fence around the pool, and it has no cover.
Doesn't have any ADA equipment.
Isn't there one more building that was the caretaker's cottage and now it's two residential?
That's this up here. Caretaker's cottage was demolished as far as I can tell based on the previous plan. And this office and 2 guest rooms was built along with this big ginormous deck.
Oh, it was demoed and
Yes.
it was added to, okay.
It's a completely different, it's in a slightly different location.
Did
So,
we see
it's
drawings for the snack bar and
Yes,
pool equipment?
I can go back to them in a minute.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep, we did. And this also includes installation of a retractable awning over the grass area near the pool. Where is that located?
That is going to be right where, let's see, you see all those diamonds?
Oh, it's in the grass,
Yes,
right here. So this is all grass?
that's all grass, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's above that grass area. There's a little note there that says retractable awning.
Do you have,
No,
That's,
the awning is not built yet, correct?
No, it's it'll go above that area though, where they have this.
And then the clock tower. So the 3 items that are not built, that are proposed, are the fencing on the pool, the retractable awning, and the clock tower. Okay?
Yes.
we don't have drawings for any of those.
We have a picture of the fence.
Yeah, the fencing.
Yes, we have a picture of the fence, the fencing. It's on the sheet where the pool sheet. I believe it's maybe sheet 4 or 5.
and so I have.
So this-
Real quick.
Yeah,
Is this kind of what you guys reviewed 5 years ago?
no, I'll get to that. Okay, anybody else have any other questions?
Bethany, this is Nicole. I looked up the permit status if you want information on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything would be helpful.
Yeah, so it looks like the application has been deemed complete with advisories on that review by the BAR is required, and also advisories that final clearance and review from departments is required. So in terms of the scope of your review, it would include both the as-built portions as well as the proposed portions. And even though the application is complete, if there is any additional information, such as the clock tower plans, et cetera, that you need in order to evaluate the project, or information regarding the total square footage of new impervious surfaces, those are things you can ask for within the framework of your review. But the planning application was deemed complete in November of this year.
Okay, so can you kind of well, how to phrase this? This is not the first time that somebody has asked for forgiveness. And usually they don't come to see us first. But if you look at a lot of what we talked about, it's like, they finished the parking lot, they didn't put any trees in it. They did a bunch of the other stuff. I think the ramp is pretty much exactly the same, because that's where that building D was, is right where that handicap parking is, and the rest of it. I'm sorry, you can't see it on the plan. On this plan, building D was right here. And this ramp was kind of a part of it. It's just very difficult to get a handle on everything that's going on. And there's not really anything in the planner memo that offers any form of direction with regard to the as-builts and our past comments and how those are supposed to play out or not. For example, I mean, I would have a question, Nicole, about the parking area, because there are requirements for shade that are in the ordinance, and now we have a parking lot that doesn't, I would expect, meet the requirements, but I don't know because the planner hasn't indicated that. So I'm kind of swinging blind here as far as what we're looking at.
Yeah, if you want to put some comments in the minutes asking the planner to write a memo at the next meeting commenting on the consistency of the project with certain items, the fact that it's deemed complete does not mean that it's entirely consistent. It means that it's being reviewed for consistency.
Correct. Right.
So if there are particular things you would like the planner to comment on, I can list those out in the minutes for next time if you'd like.
All right. With regard for how this squares the last project's dead. Okay. We are reviewing what's in front of us. All right. And there's some similarities, there's some differences, but it doesn't move. This is what we're looking at. I don't know how everybody else is feeling, but I'm having a hard time with it. So let me call public comment, and we'll come back to the discussion. I was just about to say I'm going to do public comment so I can think about this.
So we have 4? Yeah, 4 total.
Okay. So I don't know if you've been to our board before, but the BAR has a fairly circumscribed purview, I guess you could say. We are looking at somewhat with siding, especially with the way it works with the buildings and everything else. We're looking at the architecture, we're looking at landscape design. We tangentially address a few things. There's some things that are in tension between us because it's not our finding, but it impacts it. For example, grading. But we do not have any purview about number of events, traffic, parking requirements, aside from how it would then impact a planting plan or something like that. So quantities of parking, none of that's us, okay? That's all plan commission or the planner. So it's a very narrow purview. You, however, are perfectly free to say whatever you'd like within a few civility barriers. But it's your 3 minutes. And what I will do is I will call, I've got 4 people here. I'll just call you in the order they're written here. And if you would step up a little closer, this is our microphone right here. So please kind of stand up here behind Alan and Andrew or something. And if you need a figure on the screen, let us know. We'll put it up. But just come up, make your comments. And it's not an interaction, so you're not really able to ask the applicant questions or us questions or anything. You're just making comments, okay? You got your timer. Oh, he's got the timer.
You got the timer?
Yeah, we're busy.
Okay. The first public speaker is. And the other thing is if you if somebody who's spoken before you. If you'd like to focus on something else, you can say, I agree with so-and-so, but I have this. So you can be concise and get everything in there in your 3 minutes. The first one is Justin Kirk.
Okay. Please don't start the timer just yet. Is there any way we can zoom in a little bit on this before I get started?
Yep.
And I prepared to kind of go through this a little slower so you guys can digest it, but I have 3 minutes and I'm going to fly through this.
Go for it.
I think you want to hear everything that I have to say.
Get going.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Justin Kirk. I'm joined by my wife, Jackie. Together we have a 6-year-old son who is in 1st grade. We've lived in the home directly south of Zack Creek for approximately 8 years. Our home is located about 80 feet from the property as the crow flies. Because of the proximity, we experience firsthand the impacts of activity on this site. I appreciate seeing this development plan come forward for a formal hearing. After several years of demolition, construction activity on the property, it's encouraging to finally have the opportunity to provide public input on the process as it was intended to work. Before commenting on the development plan, I want to briefly note that Zack Creek has a forthcoming conditional use permit request. In that request, the applicant is seeking approval to host up to 12 large events per year with attendance ranging from approximately 150 to 300 people. If approved, associated noise, event activity, traffic, nighttime lighting would significantly impact the peaceful use and enjoyment of our home. While we are serious concerns regarding the proposal, I understand it will be addressed in a separate hearing and we'll reserve our comments for that. That said, the broader context is important. If you're familiar with the phrase build it and they will come, it feels particularly applicable here. The development plan before you asks the county to approve structures that were either built without permits or demolished and rebuilt without proper authorization. This reflects a pattern in which construction occurs first and approvals are sought afterwards. I want to read a brief excerpt from an article published in the Santa Barbara Independent, October 27th, 2020. It's called Ambitious Ideas for Zack Creek, and this is a direct quote. In a region rife with complaints over slow permitting, the plans for Zack Creek clipped along with complete ease, thanks to the intimate involvement of Chelsea's parents, Joe and Sally Reschid, who are the applicants. And they also have a co-owner who's a longtime friend, Claudio. It says here, Sally knows the ins and outs of county planning like few others, and Joe is a contractor by trade. So when ideas pop up, construction is soon to follow. I want to repeat that one quote. Sally knows the ins and outs of county planning like few others. And if that is the case, it raises serious concerns as to why we're here today discussing illegally built structures. They probably have excuses. Don't be a victim. Don't buy it. Please. So you take those issues together. This suggests, one moment, please. In addition, Zaca Creek has a violation with the Alcoholic Beverage Control Agency. The property also has hosted events without authorization and has previously been shut down by the county. Taken together, these issues suggest a consistent pattern of disregard for established rules and permitting requirements. This appears to proceed, or the approach appears to be proceed without approval, ask for forgiveness later, rather than seeking permission up front. This pattern, I believe, is deeply concerning, particularly for those of us who live adjacent to the property and are directly affected by this. As the Architectural Review Board considers this project, I respectfully ask that this broader context be kept in mind. Our preference is the county deny the development plan and require removal of the unpermitted structures. At a minimum, we urge the board to defer any approval until a conditional use permit for event hosting is fully reviewed and decided upon, so that the event frequency, attendance limits, operational conditions are clearly defined, and the development plan can be evaluated for consistency with those approvals. And there's a lot more you guys would like to hear. I just set the stage, and there's comments directly on the architecture of this plan. If you could give me a couple more minutes, I would greatly appreciate it.
Let me get through my public comment. We generally stick to it. I would suggest you submit your written comments that you prepared. Go ahead and submit those, and so they become part of the record.
I will, but I think you guys want to hear what I have to say, and it's about 2 more minutes, and it would be valuable for your architectural input to this.
Nothing's going to get decided today. If you submit your comments and part of the record,
You can email those to me.
I just want to go on record saying in a case like this, I can't vote for all of us. I don't vote today. I think that something like this, especially since he went so fast, I think we should hear it.
Or
That's just
it's
me.
your wife, right?
let me get through the comments. We'll come back to that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
You want to hear it?
Yep.
I can find someone else to read the last one.
Rory Robertson. Did I get it right? Corey. Oh, I'm sorry. It looked like an R.
That's okay. My handwriting's atrocious. My 8-year-old daughter writes faster than me. So.
Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, my name's Corey Robertson. I live on Hager Lane, Justin's neighbor. I'm just gonna go quickly again.
Go to it.
Yeah. So it's amazing to me that a gentleman would try to build legally build a structure that would host 300-person events right next to all of our houses. I mean, Justin's touches. I could throw a football from my yard to their parking. Anyway, I'm just gonna go to what you guys talk about because I know a lot of stuff's out of scope. But I built a pool, my wife and I. It took 15 months for our permit to get approved. 15 months. Did we wait? Yeah, we waited. We have an epic pool, but we waited. This guy didn't wait. When I heard, this is the first time I heard this. We have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. They have a 7-year-old. We have other kids on our street. They have a pool without a fence around it. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable to me. And it just blows my mind. And then I'm a business owner too. I get it. He's trying to run a business. I just don't understand his thing. That's it. Justin's going to talk. That clock tower looks directly into Justin's house. Directly into his house. He's going to, my wife will read his last name. That's it. But I appreciate it. An unpermitted pool with no fence around. It took 15 months to get, I have an acre lot and it took 15 months to get my permit. For him to just completely disregard that, it's mind blowing to me. I don't understand. But thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Jack Kirk.
Okay. I'm skipping some of it because I feel like I'm not that fast of a reader.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Kirk. I'm not only a neighbor, but a member of our community. Sorry, I'm a little emotional because this is so impactful to our community. Anyway, the historical demolishment portion, the applicant demolished what I understand to be an historic caretaking dwelling. From what I learned, the historical evaluation was commissioned after the structure was already torn down. A new structure approximately twice the size was built in phase and now proposed as a guest house. This raises severe questions, and I hope the board were clearly concerned. Why was a historical review conducted after the demolishment instead of before? Is it appropriate for a post-demolishment report to be used to justify demolishment by bypassing public records? How can the public be assured that the new structure was built safely and to code when it did not go under any inspections throughout construction? I also note with concern that the historian who prepared the report at the direction of the applicant is the same historian used by the county. I'm not making any accusations, but I do ask that the board to consider whether it creates a conflict of interest or at least undermines the public confidence in the process. The retractable awning near the pool. Regarding the proposed retractable awning near the pool, I asked the board to consider that this is not only an architectural standpoint, but also from a safety perspective. During events, it seems like portable propane heaters could be placed underneath the awning, and I asked, has this fire risk ever been considered by the configuration? What happens if the awning fails, collapses, or ignites? What are the implications that are given by the approximate trees, standby structures, and Zachar Creek's large propane tanks nearby? I understand these may sound like hypothetical scenarios, but safety planning may exist because of the worst case scenarios. The Asbeth pool. Pools appear to have been constructed over a former parking area behind the banquet hall, are likely composed of fill rather than native soil, and sits on an elevated pad adjacent to other structures. Given the applicant's stated intent to pursue a conditional use permit for events 150 to 300 people, I believe this warrants careful scrutiny. Was the pool excavated to native soil and engineered appropriately? Was it built properly, enforced with steel concrete strength and grounding? Was it designated to support commercial level live loads associated with large gatherings? How can the public be sure that this evaluation structure is stable and not at risk for failure or collapse to the adjacent building and/or the structure or hillside? Finally, the pizzeria. The pizzeria was also constructed without public review or oversight during the construction. I respectfully ask, how can the county now verify that the building meets safety and code requirements? How does the board ensure that this use of space aligns with what is being presented today? From an outsider perspective, it is difficult to not wonder whether this space will actually function as a pizzeria or really a pool bar. Given existing alcohol licensing limitations, I simply ask the board to look closely and ensure that what you guys are going to approve is what actually is going to be operated.
Okay. How much more have you got? Because we've hit our limit.
Are you over?
Yeah. Majority of what you're talking about there is definitely not in our purview. I mean, it's just, we're looking at the building, but whether they were built to code, that's permitting, that's planning. There's a lot of issues here that are very common to as-built situations that we don't even look at. We're looking at the design of the structures, and that's kind of what we're looking at. So, is there anything else in your comments and number of events, those kinds of things? Do you have any other comments that are very specific to the style of the buildings or the layout?
I mean, the lighting in the pool area, they're saying that it's like, if you guys actually just walk the property, they're not being fully transparent either by this meeting itself. They're leaving a lot out, and there's a lot of like lighting around the pool that is literally like a cruise ship that's shining into our stuff. So this isn't 100% accurate either of what is today, which is even more frustrating.
Well, there's no approval today, so everybody relax. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the very first step of what?
If you're looking for feedback on architecture, if there's a motion from the board.
There will be no motion today. There is no action.
For me to come up and say a few more comments, I do have comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get back to you in a second. Thank you very much. Ken Hall.
Yeah.
Hi.
My name is Kenneth Hall. My wife and I, Connie, my wife, Connie and I, excuse me, I'm nervous.
It's okay.
We live at 1241 Hager. We actually share the property line with Zachar. That's not shown. We're not in this drawing, but we're right off the back corner of them.
You're over here?
We're to the west corner of the parking lot, I guess you'd say.
So
South
right
and
here.
west.
Ken, can you point?
Ken, can you point to it on the map? Where's your house?
Let's see, where's Manada's here?
Yeah, that's Hanukkah.
So this is we're actually gonna be right here.
Right there.
Um,
That's all three neighbors.
But their lot line, actually, we're probably here. We actually share the lot
Okay.
line with them. Anyway, when we first heard about them coming in, there was a story about there was gonna be a bar there and so forth. We were a little concerned about that. We went over with some of the neighbors and met with the owners. We were told at that time that all they were going to do was take the existing Zaka restaurant, put in about 6 or 7 rooms to make it into a small wedding venue and have a smaller restaurant, and that the barn structure was going to be the party venue, and all the parking was going to be there, and that was going to be it. They totally lied to us about everything else. None of the other stuff was any discussion. The existing little house was going to be a caretaker property, and after all this got done, they went ahead and did all their other construction and so forth, and now want us to live with it. They have had a couple of events there that were probably 100 people, maybe, something like that. The lights and stuff like that come right over into our yard. We can't use our backyard when they've got noise and stuff like that going on over there. So if we wanted to have a backyard barbecue, we're forced to ask them what they're doing so that we can decide whether or not we have a weekend.
Just so you know, we just had an update from our planner who staffs us, and there will be a planning commission hearing where all of the comments, the majority of the comments that have been made today are very much to the planning commission's purview, and please say them there when we get to that point,
Okay, it just, my point is, I don't trust them to do anything that they're saying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute, okay? Let me get to my public comment and we'll wrap it up. Catherine Royer, did I say it right?
Yeah, Royer. I can either read yours or I can do mine. Either way. Okay. As far as we can get. All right. As the Architectural Review Board considers this project, I respectfully ask that this broader context be kept in mind. Our preference is that the county deny the development plan and require removal of the unpermitted structures. At a minimum, we urge the board to defer any approval until the conditional use permit for event hosting is fully reviewed and decided so that event frequency, attendance limits, and additional conditions are clearly defined in the development plan can be evaluated for consistency with those approvals. With that context in mind, I now turn to the purpose of today's hearing and offer specific feedback on the details of the development plan. First, I want to acknowledge the work Joe and Sally have done to revitalize the property. It's clearly being shaped into a visually appealing space. I also want to specifically recognize the privacy wall and sound barrier installed between our property and Zaka Creek. That wall has been effective in reducing noise and visual impacts from the ground level activity, particularly from the parking lot and restaurant and bar areas. However, that effectiveness is limited to ground level uses. The development proposed today sits approximately 10 to 15 feet above that elevation and in some areas even higher. As a result, light, noise, and sight lines from these elevated structures travel directly over the existing privacy wall and into our dining room, living room, and bedroom. I ask the Architectural Review Board to keep this elevation difference in mind as I outline our specific concerns based not on speculation, but on what we directly see and hear from inside our home. 1, clock tower, 120 square feet. The proposed clock tower will be highly visible not only from our home, but from the surrounding neighborhood. We ask the review board to carefully consider both the height and lighting of the clock tower to mitigate visual and lighting impacts on nearby homes. 2, 11 9-foot tall 8x8 wooden posts with shielded string lighting. Because our home sits at ground level and these features are built 10 to 15 feet above that, the shielding on the string lighting provides little relief from our vantage point. Currently, Zaka Creek has unshielded string lighting, and we often joke at home that it looks like a cruise ship at night when everything's lit up. We're concerned this proposal would amplify that effect rather than improve it. 3, retractable awning near the pool. The proposed retractable awning over the grass area near the pool would be visible from our home and frankly, an eyesore. If possible, limiting the awning to the area directly behind the existing banquet hall would significantly reduce its visual impact. As proposed today, it would clearly be visible from our home. 4, gap between the pizzeria and the banquet hall near the pool entrance. This area between the pizzeria and the banquet hall is where people naturally gather. Unfortunately, it also creates a direct line of sight and sound path into our home. This is consistently our biggest problem area in terms of noise and visibility. From this spot, we can clearly see and hear the crowds from our dining room, living room, and bedroom. I believe this area also presents the greatest opportunity for improvement within the current development plan. Joe and Sally have made efforts by planting vines and bushes to help block the view, but those measures have not been effective. We strongly believe that extending a privacy wall and a sound barrier connecting from the pizzeria and continuing behind the banquet hall would go a long way to addressing these issues. By leveraging the existing buildings and making what I believe is a relatively modest adjustment, this change could significantly improve the quality of life for our family while still allowing parts of this project to move forward. Closing statement. In closing, I want to emphasize that we are not opposed to thoughtful improvement of this property. We understand that Zaka Creek is evolving, and we appreciate efforts that are made to be considerate of neighboring homes. What we're asking for is fairness, accountability, and a development plan that truly reflects the realities of its impacts on those of us who live closest to it. Because of our proximity, we do not experience this project in drawings or elevations. We experience it in our living room, our bedroom, and our daily family life. The design elements I've outlined today are not abstract concerns. They directly affect our ability to quietly and peacefully use and enjoy our home. I respectfully request that the Architectural Review Board carefully weigh these impacts, particularly the elevation differences, lighting, noise, and sightlines created by the proposed structures, as to require meaningful design changes that mitigate these effects. Doing so would demonstrate that the rules apply equally, that neighboring residents matter, and that development can move forward responsibly and in balance with the surrounding community. Thank you for your time, your consideration, and for the opportunity to share our perspective.
Thank you. All right. So we got yours, Ann. Are you good?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. Nicole, you want to, I'm going to have our staff planner go ahead and kind of walk everyone through how the Planning Commission, BAR, and the Planning and Development Department, all of these reviews are kind of in tandem. They're kind of intertwined. And I'm just going to let her address kind of what the process is going to be for this project. And I'm just going to reiterate before Nicole, before you take it away here, this is a conceptual review. It is the first what we're going to see here as they move forward through the process through just the BAR. These are all public hearings. And Nicole, I'll talk about that if you don't get to it, okay? Go ahead, Nicole.
Thank you, Bethany. Yeah, my name's Nicole Liu, and I'm a supervising planner. I wanted to give the public commenter some information just so that you have an understanding of where you can be involved in the process and how it unfolds. So right now they're getting BAR conceptual level review. There's no action taken at this point, simply comments given. Simultaneously, the project planner, that's Kathleen Volpe, who's listed on the agenda, and you can submit public comments to her as well. She's conducting a review of the project for consistency with the county's zoning ordinances and planning requirements. She will also be making a determination as to what the appropriate environmental review for the project is, which has to do with issues such as as well as policies, which would have to do with the topics you're bringing up related to noise, traffic, those types of things. BAR is solely limited to the aesthetics and design, but the planner is concurrently conducting those other reviews. Once those reviews have been completed, the project will be heard by the County Planning Commission at a public hearing. That is an opportunity where you can give comment on all of the issues that you're interested in, including design, but those other issues as well. And that's a discretionary decision in public hearing. After the Planning Commission, the action of the Planning Commission is appealable to the County Board of Supervisors, but assuming that an appeal is not filed after decision is made on the project, it will come back to the Board of Architectural Review for final detailing, colors, materials, etc. But at that point, the bulk of the project will have been decided. So I just wanted to lay that out, and just to let you know that Kathleen Volpe is the planner. You can submit your comment letters to her as well. And if you have questions about the process I just described, you can also talk to the planner about that. Her information is on the agenda. Thank you.
Actually, it just gives the name. You didn't put the email
There
on.
needs to be contact information.
Yeah. So, yes, so as Nicole mentioned, it's Kathleen Volpe is the planner for this project.
Spell the last name.
VOLPI. And you should contact her. And I'm assuming that the three of you all received notices because you're within a certain number. Okay. Okay. Well, it's, yeah, I'm not going to go there. So, yeah, as long as you are on her list, you'll be notified of any of the public hearing or any public decision maker. Agenda, hearings, any of that stuff, you should be kept up to date on that. The BAR is, this is not an uncommon occurrence to have a bunch, many people who come, who are residents, who are right next to a project, whatever the project might be, whether it's a house or a business or whatever. But we often get a lot of people because this is the first public hearing. So everybody shows up, and that's great. Don't get me wrong. It's great to have that feedback from the public. Unfortunately, because our purview is very focused, a lot of the larger issues, this is not the area in which that becomes something that we can talk about. It's just not on our plate. But the planner, the planning commission, zoning administrator, all of these other decision makers are very appropriate for those thoughts. And hopefully you will, if you haven't already, reach out to the planner and kind of coordinate that. If you do come to us again, if you submit your written comments to our secretary, they pop up, we get to read them beforehand. Okay, so you can make public comments, you can review the plans, they're publicly available online. I mean, so you can do all of that beforehand, and then we already have your comments. And then if there's something you need to add or you especially want to point us to that's within our purview, that helps guides us on the day of. Okay, so that's, I think that takes care of that. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Like,
It's on your scope. We appreciate it. Thank you.
This is my 26th year doing this.
We do appreciate it. We know, but yeah, we appreciate it.
Actually, it's my 27th year. That's depressing.
So you started when you were 2?
Yeah.
Thank you. No. No. But I started in 2000. And this VAR started in 05, so it's been a while. Okay, yes, do we? Yeah, let's go to comments and we can get moving so that we can get the next couple of projects down the line. I'm gonna, no. This,
We're not done yet.
yeah. So, I'm gonna start, and everybody else, if I missed something or there's something else you wanna add on, just knock it, because I'm not gonna catch everything. Nicole, this could be a little complicated, but I trust in your note-taking ability to make it sound good in the end. So I have a lot of hesitation, although this project has received its completeness letter, the initial submittal and everything. There are a lot of questions, not least of which is this, the swap for the thing, compliance for trees in the parking lot, there's a lot of consistency questions I have that are actually findings for planning, but could have an impact on what's going on here. And my concerns at this point are, I'd like to see a more fulsome planner memo that offers a little direction on where they are. And I realize we didn't get that now because she hasn't done it yet. I get that. But I have concerns about lighting. I have concerns about just understanding. The pictures are great, but really to be able to understand exactly how this deck and wall and everything. I mean, I saw the detail, but it doesn't really convey what's going on the ground. The clock tower position that's kind of, I'm just not really grasping the site as well as I would like. So I would like to have a site visit at some point, just to kind of see what's going on, because it's already been built. You can go and see it, with the exception of the pool fence awning and the clock tower.
And the public can come to those.
Yes, that is a public.
Would we be notified?
Yes, it's part of the agenda, everything. This is just the beginning. I really can't give any feedback. I'm just kind of waiting to see how the rest of this turns out and other information. I guess I'm saying I need a lot more information to really give anything more at this point besides what I've already said.
Well, to sort of piggyback on that, I think the lack of documentation in a very holistic and contextual sense is really lacking. I'd like to see site sections that really reflect the context of all these elevation changes and grading. I'd like to see locations on the plan of the neighboring properties and structures.
Which is actually a requirement.
Yeah, well, it's not there. Going back, even though the old plan is dead, in just terms of process, I would like to see a conceptual master plan that actually addresses vehicular circulation, ADA requirements, pedestrian circulation, things like shading in the parking lot. These are can all be pulled together at a conceptual level. Screening, all of these things that really are part of our purview in terms of overall design. Also, I think we really need to consider and understand clearly what the fire department requirements are, where the paths of safe travel are for the fire department, hammerheads, footpath access for them for fighting fires. That all needs to be described on the plan and reflected in the design. also permeable and impermeable paving, and how it relates to stormwater management on the site. It seems, well, as Bethany said, there's no point in commenting because there's nothing really to review at this point. So I think that's kind of ground zero for where I would like to see this project move, because there's no point in commenting on whether I like stone on a building or not. I mean, it's really quite superfluous at this point. That's all.
Okay, I'd like to see a photo sim of the clock tower from possibly every single direction. I don't even know what they're talking about. Secondly, light spillage and dark sky compliant is a biggie for me, and I would otherwise echo what my colleagues said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'm just say I'm really disappointed that we have buildings built in the setback, and we don't have the opportunity to review this plan before construction took place. And I'm also concerned about an unsafe condition on the site. And I agree with everything you have said so far. So I hope that's my point of view.
Oh, most of it's been covered by our previous folks here, but I wanted to also mention there's a sign ordinance that needs to be complied with. But general comment on this situation, I don't think it's fair for the board to have to review something that is so egregious. You know, I've been on the board almost 25 years myself and never seen anything this drastic and built without permits. And it's almost like it's such a project that's in our face. What are we supposed to do with it? You know, it's already built. Are we going to tell them to tear it down? It's not our purview. Somebody will. The building department may, but not us. And so, and I'm going to make another comment that I've heard of a lot of projects in the valley that get built without permits. So I don't think this is the first one we're going to see, but probably the most egregious. And it's because the building department and the process takes so long to get through that people, the general public is so frustrated with that process that they just say, screw it, I'm just going to build it. This is unbelievable what they've done here, but that's to be addressed in the future here. But I think we're going to see a lot more of these projects when people try to sell their properties and they don't have the proper approvals for the buildings that are on the properties, and they're going to come forward to us in the future. So that would just be my general comment on the whole process.
Andrew?
I echo a lot of the sentiments that have been shared already. I think there's, as we all know, certain rules that everybody has to abide by, and setbacks are one of the most basic rules that we all have to conform to in one way or another. My first request is that if there is a survey from the 2020 project, that we use that as a basis for the as-built comparison, because I think there's a lot of grading being listed as 0 on this planning application is kind of ridiculous. And I think, you know, there's no way to really go back in time and see how many truck trips were taken or anything like that, but there is a way to get a feel for that. And I think that I feel that even with the proposed work, there would still be some grading, and so I would consider the planner to try to quantify that. I think that the clock tower is something I struggle with. I don't believe there's any, as someone who likes niche building typologies, I don't think I've ever seen an agricultural clock tower in the state of California, or the US for that matter. Prove me wrong. I think that the green box as a offset to the setback encroachment is also laughable. You might as well, find a tiger salamander pond and say you're never going to develop there, or a cliff or anything. Usually how I've seen that done is by offsetting with the entire setback line itself rather than an area of the building that's encroaching. So I'd urge the planner to take a look at that, whether it's that setback or a different setback. I would like to see a photometric light study of the entire property. I think step one to mending ties with your neighbors would be to show your neighbors on the project application somewhere. What I mean by that, even if it's a small scale aerial of where the nearest structures are on adjacent properties, I think that's step one to helping get to where we need to get to. And I would like to see a verification of the building height in relation to existing grade, ideally existing grade from the 2020 application if we can get it. And I just lastly want to voice a concern about the pizza building and the oak lawn. A patch of grass intruding upon a setback can seem like something relatively benign, but when you think about the layout of that, and it looks like the actual ceremony altar would be on that end of the field also, that means, amplified sound equipment, that means, a lot of other things. And I would urge the planner to keep a careful eye on that. In addition to what food operations will be going on in the pizza area, I would imagine that there's live fire and cooking equipment and other things that present a real danger, being that close to a property line and trees and all of that. And let's see. Those are my comments.
This is going to sound a little bit harsh, I guess, but Kathleen Volpe is not available today, right?
She's not.
Okay, I wouldn't be either if I was the planner on this.
Yeah.
Just being frank about it, I don't know her, I'm not saying nothing about her. I mean, failings by the county should not hurt people who live in the county. And it's not slow walking something and having people talking about it and on what you said. Things might be slow in the county, but it still doesn't make it right or legal for people to do that. The way to take care of that is to vote the right way and figure out where your tax line is on, because it does happen. So that I understand what you said and I agree with what you said, but I don't think anybody should use that as an excuse. I looked at this, and I've been on the board as long as you have, but I looked at this and I saw I honestly thought there was stuff missing in the file when I looked at it. And this is, quite frankly, this is the worst one I've ever seen. I've been on maybe about 6 years now, I think. And I think if it isn't short of an outrage, it's outrageous on a number of issues. It's not under our purview. I'd like to know what penalties are involved with building something without a permit. I mean, there's got to be some kind of permit. As far as sight lines are concerned, we went apoplectic when a cell site, when a winery was going to be seen for not even 30, but 5 seconds from somebody driving on the 101 freeway at 60 miles an hour. I mean, there's no sight lines here. Does staff read what we comment on about other projects? I mean, because I would like their knowledge, staff knowledge, to build upon what we've made comments on steadily. Almost as if every project we get, we start from, staff goes, oh, you don't want it to be seen from 4 miles away? I mean, I may be a little bit off on this, but it's like every time we see a project, and this one just boils to the top. I agree with what everybody said. I'd like to know how this got to us. I really would. Because we've been working on this since 9 o'clock, and I don't know why, quite frankly, I don't know if we're talking about it at all. I mean, Nicole, how did this get to us like this? And what did Kathleen make any notes that she was going to be sending to us in advance?
So I think it might be helpful if I gave some context. This in terms of the zoning violation that caused this to come to us, I need to do some additional research. But this came to the county in October of 2025, so not very long ago. That is when it was Kathleen's review of the project began. And again, this project has not been determined to be consistent. It's still undergoing consistency review. And there is that prior context from 2020, but this is coming for conceptual review. And you may recall, you get a lot of what you would consider not fully developed plans at the conceptual review stage. So I acknowledge that the plans are fairly incomplete, but that is not uncommon for conceptual review. This is not considered a preliminary review following the 2020 review. That was a separate review. So from a CBAR review perspective, this is really early in the process. And there is time for the planner to come back at another conceptual review meeting and provide information in terms of how everything unfolded in terms of a zoning violation being open on the property. Does that answer your question?
Well,
may I say something?
Go ahead.
I agree this is conceptual review, but in conceptual review, this requires the site plan, an understanding of the environment, the context, the topology. I don't care about doorknobs, obviously, at this point, but we have to understand conceptual review is size, bulk, and scale, neighborhood compatibility.
There's listed drawing requirements.
There's a list of drawing requirements. In no way does this package meet those requirements. And so I think, honestly, if someone submitted this package, I think in 5 minutes you could say, this does not meet the requirements, go away, come back when you're ready. And I'm sorry we've wasted this much time on this, but it's a very important issue, and we need to move forward with the process that is in place and the requirements that are in writing for the applicant, period.
I have another comment. Nicole, I need you to add to our comments. You know, we've heard a lot from members of the public about private views, which are not protected by county policy. However, views from Hanata Park Road and 101, which is directly adjacent to Hanata Park Road, are within our purview. And the next go round, I would like to see the submittal in some way or form address what those views are, current and proposed. And the application, we will need, this is piggybacking on what Puck was just saying. For example, I realize this is the first stab, and they're coming in with stuff, and obviously they were focusing on the as-built, but it would not have taken very much to add the fencing detail, to have the clock tower elevations, to have just some basic some of those information included, and really highlight exactly what's as built. I know they've got a lot of notes on here, but it's very difficult, as Denise demonstrated when we went through the agenda. It's very difficult to parse exactly what's the as built, what is proposed. I don't think there's anything in here, any information aside from a written note about the awning. I didn't see anything about that. So there's some serious holes as far as the completeness of the BAR submittal. Go ahead, Alan.
For my clarification, I got another comment too. What was, and I'm trying to remember what was on the 2020. What was built between 1920 and 2020 and now? What buildings up there are we looking at that were put up?
That's all the as-built.
All of it. So, since 2020.
Yes.
Okay, and I would say that's the wrong terminology.
Okay, so that's untrue.
I would.
There's an elephant in the room that's not being discussed.
I would call, yeah, the elephant has left the room. You can get your, I don't want to set you, but let me finish.
Sure.
I would not characterize that as built. I would characterize that as recently built. That's, to me, that's a totally different thing. Now, I have a separate question I'm asking, and not our purview, I have a separate question, maybe Nicole can answer this. I'm a licensed contractor. I don't build anything in California, I had it for my own business. As a licensed contractor, you need to pull permits. You've got to follow the law also. I'd like to know, are there any, at what point, when we see things like this, at what point does the county go after the contractors who do this stuff too?
State does.
State.
So
And it's complaint driven.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there a history of complaints against this project with the county?
That's not within our,
It's just a question.
yeah. We can ask the planner to address that in their memo.
Yeah, please add one, but you asked them a question about work being done between 2020 and now. Zachary Creek Restaurant used to be a restaurant with seated 250 people. It's now a hotel with 6 rooms and a restaurant. 6 rooms right next to a commercial kitchen. That's not being discussed. That's a huge issue.
It's not in our purview.
I understand,
Yeah.
but there's a hotel there now.
Yeah, well, I think these are questions that the planner needs to address in the memo. And it goes to what Lowell asked for about, is there a history of complaints? What's going on with it? I would really like to see what is in need of permitting, even with as far as use, because that informs the layout of the buildings and the site plan and the pedestrian and all of that.
The fire department.
Fire department, all of those kinds of things. So I think the planner memo, the next planner memo is, I think, I'm expecting to be very robust. So it will be very interesting to see. And I'm sorry, we just can't give, because of where this is in the process right now, we just can't really give much specific feedback. It's maybe basically a laundry list of questions.
And Bethany, you
For
mentioned
information.
the site visit.
Yeah.
Would we have that after the applicant meets the standard conditions of a conceptual submittal?
I would think it would kind of go along.
Yeah, but
Well, without that, what's the point?
Yeah.
That's my point. Yeah. No, this.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah. No, a site visit doesn't get agendized unless, Teresa always
Just so
asks.
everybody understands.
Yeah. No, but we wouldn't have a site visit until we'd actually see, I think, more of a plan package and a plan memo that kind of satisfies the vacuum of the dearth of it. Yeah, it's gonna be a long list. Okay. Item number 3, 25 bar 128, Grupo Tehanan LLC water feature.
Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, I know we're out of scope.
No.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
That kind of cleared the room.
We're gonna get going.
Do we have anybody for item number 3?
Something they're coming. They're outside, right? I think they're coming in.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Should I pause the video?
What's that? All right, we're back. New and improved. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead. You want to start off, where do you want to start? And please be aware that the second item took over almost 2 hours, so we're needing to press forward because we need to be out of here in less than an hour. But take your time. So to walk us through what the project is, and let's get going.
Yes, you got it. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Ethan Godfrey with Marami, and it is wonderful to see you all again. And some of you may be wondering why on earth we're back here. And it's for an amendment to our rear landscape and event area. Seeing how things are in the wine industry, it's crucial for us to diversify and invest heavily in our event program and wedding program. And this amendment not only reflects that investment, but our investment in making Santa Barbara County and the San Ynez Valley a prime destination for family fun, weddings, and of course, tourism. I also want to stress that with this amendment, we're coordinating everything internally with our civil and landscape teams on all of the drainage, flooding, mosquito control, and everything regarding the design process, as you'll see with this water feature. Now, Wet Design, who is going to be doing the majority of this presentation, are a very wonderful firm from Los Angeles, and we as a family have worked with them before in the past. on water features and our family's past careers as architects and designers. And you'll hear a lot more from them, but their design really wowed us. And and I hope that with your approval and comments, it will wow all of the families who come to celebrate and enjoy time at Meraki. So I'll invite Avery up now, and she will run you through. We'd like to start on the renderings PDF. It's the other one besides the schematic.
You know what it's called?
I think
Content compressed. There you go. Thank you.
Well said. Hello, everybody. My name is Avery Barr. I'm a senior designer at WET, and I'm here with my fantastic team today to share with you our vision for the rear exterior working experience at Merami Winery and Vineyard. Just in the audience, quick intro, we got Tony, who is our project director and engineer on the project, our founder and CEO, Mark Fuller, and then my comrade here, Derek, another senior designer. We're really excited about this, so we'll get right into it. I've been at WET about 10 out of the 42 years that we've been in business, and WET's a really special place to work. We've had the opportunity to create some of the largest and most recognizable fountains and water features in the world. But perhaps the most special to us are projects like this, family-forward projects that are a little bit local, projects that you can see the passion behind, and also projects with a story to tell. And that's very much how we approach this design and how we like to approach many designs that we come into. It's really, what is the story? What do we need to do for this space to make it great? And at the core of this story is really winemaking in Los Olivos. Really celebrating all the different things that need to come together to not only create a great wine, but create a great experience around wine. We need a couple things. We need the love and the passion, which is the Godfreys and the whole team on this, the community as well. You need good vines, good soil, lots of sun, and of course you need water. And, we're the water people. But as the famous landscape architect Lawrence Halprin once said, water is the wine of architecture. Although I don't know if you ever got to apply that metaphor to an actual winery, it's very much the sentiment that we embraced going into this, talking about story, talking about the passion, trying to really ingrain that in the space. So if I could direct your attention to the plan, we can maybe not zoom into it, but I hope everyone can see it, and welcome you to walk around the model over there as well. What we've done is we've created two distinct spaces. We've created a versatile event lawn and what we're calling the discovery grounds. And both of these spaces have really been shaped and defined by water, specifically a water feature. Next slide, please. And from an experiential level, not only do these water cascades create the boundaries of the space, but they create an experience. They create an environment. They create an ambiance. And that's what we're going for here is a really versatile guest experience. We know that we want this space to be romantic sometimes. We know that we want this space to be extremely casual, and we want people to interact with it as if it's, maybe their own backyard for a second. They're here for the weekend, they're having a good time, they just want to relax. And we also want this space to have an air of adventure and discovery. Speaking for myself, I come up here with my girlfriends to have a good time and, hit all the different wineries and have an experience, have an adventure. So we want this space to really be able to serve whatever the program requires of it. Really versatile, many different moods across the entire space. Now, you may have already noticed, but we have these wine goblet-like sculptures perched within the cascades. And these are extremely important to our design, as they really represent wine in its final form, which is poured out of a bottle into an appropriate vessel or container ready to be enjoyed, which is, we're trying to celebrate that moment, right? We're talking about water being the wine of architecture. And not only do these goblets overflow with water, but they also have this really special ambient animated water expression within. And these create an additional, I'd say, spirit to these goblets. They give them their own personality, their own little life. And you'll notice that many of these goblets, familiar, looking as if they were, a familiar wine goblet, but many of them a little quirkier, a little bit of a character here and there. And we've done that to really accentuate the idea that there are many different types of wines to be celebrated, not only within the San Ynez Valley, but within Los Olivos. And not only to celebrate the variety of wines that you find here, but to celebrate the different characters that you find here, the different personalities that you find here. So really, this is the fun in the design. This is the spirit, this is the story coming through. And we're extremely excited about these glass sculptures. And we've been working with not only a local artisan to work on the customization of them, and we have some props to share with you over here, some samples. But we've also really been working with a scientific glass blower to work on the integrity of these as well. So they're not just ornate, they're actually very functional. And they're gonna work with our technology quite seamlessly. Next slide, please. So now we'll zoom out and we'll start to look at the layout and how it relates to the program of the space. So here we have an aerial view of what we're calling like the day-to-day program at Marami Winery, which is open to the public. Everyone's coming, enjoying their day. People are gathered on the event lawn in more of a casual sense, maybe picnicking, moving to and from the tasting room, really getting to venture around the space and having it be whatever they need it to be. Some important updates to the layout, and I would say aspects of the layout would be the changing grading. So we do have a slight change in grading. So we have this upper foundational level where the building sits upon, and we're coming down a gentle about 18 inches. And this will usher you down into this event lawn and discovery zone we've been talking about. Every pathway, every ramp has been strategically designed for certain sight lines and for maximum circulation. So when we were designing this space, we're like, we want to welcome people down here. We want them to move through it and really get to point out all the different aspects of this space. So everything's been carefully designed to really usher people down and give them that maximum experience. Another noteworthy aspect of this layout would be the softscape forwardness of it. We really wanted to be sure to blend into the surroundings of this area. We know we have this natural creek bed just off this frame, and we want to make sure that all the plantings really merge and blend with that. We don't want to have this hardscape or plaza heavy feel. Another important aspect of this design is the strategic planting of trees. So all of these trees are meant to work in unison with the water feature, not only to provide shade, but to provide these certain reveal points and really create that environment that we were talking about earlier. It really sets a mood when you're like kind of wandering through this foresty space. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now this is the same aerial view, but now in the context of a large event, a wedding. So you can see here that we have a majority of our guests now gathered on the versatile event lawn, witnessing a really special ceremony. And when we talk about ambiance and we talk about program and we talk about that guest experience, this is where the water feature starts to really react to that. And this is that romantic aspect that we're talking about. You can see here that the water feature is now calmed, paying homage to the beautiful moment happening up on the pedestal. Next slide, please. And then to conclude, our final moment, which is a wedding ceremony here at Marami Winery and Vineyards. We have our glass goblets a decent arm's distance away, so you can't quite touch them. They're not interactive in any way, but they're really settling down and cheersing the couple up on the pedestal, giving a little bit of subtle theater to the space. And not only cheersing the couple, but I mean, I would say that the main aspect of this layout is really paying homage. Sorry.
That was me.
Oh, no problem.
The water spray.
It's really paying homage to the scenery. And the whole orientation of this layout was really driven by the view. And, you know, Derek and I, we love designing and it's our passion, but we are smart enough to try to compete with, not compete with nature, right? Like we're trying to embellish it, we're trying to frame it, we're trying to make sure that this is the photo moment that you want. And the elephant in the room, which is what is this peacock spray fan behind this couple here? This is a blink and you might miss moment. So this is something that happens during the I do moments. This is the, you know, hopefully everyone has their camera ready, right? This is a big fan of water, almost like, I don't want to say sprinkler, it's much prettier than a sprinkler, but a big sprinkler moment where the water kind of fans out and creates this beautiful liquid backdrop for the bride and groom. The little bit of theater that we were talking about earlier. But beyond that is, I would say, the showstopper, which is this beautiful rolling hills of wine country, which was very striking when we first came and did a site walk for this area. I think we all kind of gravitated towards this one direction. We're like, this is it. This is the game changer. You know, this is what's going to make this place special. So that just concludes our conceptual pitch for this. I would love to have open up the floor to any questions that you guys might have.
Just let me finish up. When we get to questions, it's the conclusion of your presentation. So if there's any of the rest of your set you want to go through, I suggest you go through it briefly, and then we can get you with a couple of questions. I can call public comment, and then we can get to our deliberation.
Yeah, then how about this? How about let's go back to one of the aerial views. So let's go 2 slides back and just talk about some quick data that we have here. So it looks like we have a lot of water here, but we actually don't. These cascades have a very, very thin layer of water going over them. So it's this dark aggregate, very natural stone-looking surface, which is a little bit of glaze of water. So don't be scared. It's not like a deluge or anything like that. And we have some numbers on our worst case usage for evaporation, which is equivalent to no more than a residential swimming pool, about 15 by 30 feet. And we have actual figures for that if you'd like to know them. Also, our estimated water total usage is well below, 15 below the maximum water allowance. And that's if this thing was on 24/7, which, you know, we're thinking it's going to be quite seasonal, so it won't be on at the time. Any concerns about uplighting? We've made sure that all of our lights here are not only dimmable, but color temperature adjustable and fall within all the compliant guidelines that we've looked up. Not exceeding, you know, the coolness or Kelvin, and not exceeding the max output of lumens as well. Water treatment, the water is going to be extremely clean. Think of it as almost distilled water. So we're not going to kill any plants. We're not going to kill any children. It's going to be very, very clean, and there's going to be no residue buildup. This has its own special filtration system and water treatment. We also have timing controls and wind sensors on all of this equipment and water feature, so that it's completely variable depending on what the program needs it to be. Yeah, this is a good point to share our glass blown vessels. So they're a little bit large. I wouldn't suggest drinking any wine out of these because it would, you get quite intoxicated. But these are the characters that we're talking about. These fun characters that we have. We have a funky one over there, which is quite its own art piece in its own right. And we feel like these are, you know, the bread and butter of this experience. This is what's going to make this really special. So these artisanal glass sculptures animated with this little spirit of water for people to really resonate with and, you know, pick out their favorite one. Maybe your kid has a favorite one that it names. And it doesn't have to just be about wine, right? It can just be about the fun of it and the, you know, discovery and exploring the space.
This last one.
So that concludes my presentation. I'd love to.
Do you want to look at pages 6 to 11? That's the one that's a big hog. Do this one. 6 to 11. You want to just go down. This is just kind of taking us through some of the details that you've already very thoughtfully. I mean, you've got a lot of detail in here. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about these at all.
Do we want to talk, Tony, can we talk somebody in with experience with the technical details?
It's up to you. If you're succinct and you're finished with your thing, and that's fine. I'm not gonna make you stand there and talk more.
No, we're good with the concept, and we know it like the back of our hands, but I think Tony would probably speak better to the technical details.
I think I can go through some of those.
Okay.
Very, very quickly. But I didn't want you to leave anything on the table.
I'm Tony Freitas, as April said, project director of WED. I've been working for WED for about 30 years. This is our schematic design package for the project. So really this is our technical drawings that encapsulate the design that Avery and Derek have developed for the space. And primarily this is showing the architecture behind the building of this, indicating some of the materials and just how we are arranging the glass elements and supplying the water supply. So if we go through this, you see we have a plan view. The equipment will be located in a vault that'll be underground, adjacent to the feature. So that vault is accessed from the back of house area of the winery, so that's not.
And where is the vault on this plan?
The vault on this plan is in this area here.
Okay.
This area here underground. Actually.
Gotcha.
So our access is here, but we don't want to be under the truck
over
loading
here.
area.
Gotcha. All right.
So you don't see the equipment. It's not on display. It's hidden from the public and hidden from passersby. The feature is primarily constructed of concrete basins with the sloping walls that will probably be gunite construction. But the finishes then are applied over that. We do plan to use all stone finishes throughout the feature. Dark granite is very common. We're still testing and looking at some samples right now in our facility, building some mock-ups of it. But they are very natural finishes, and one of the benefits is if the feature is off, even if it's drained, it doesn't look like an empty swimming pool. You still have something that is a nicely finished architectural piece. This is a preliminary concept of the goblets up at the left corner. So you see that they are sitting within this water surface. The development of them is still in flux. I think this represents it pretty well, that they sit on some kind of a metal base and they're a fully glass construction. There's some lighting to give you some gentle lighting within these. As Avery says, the water level can overflow at times. There's some bubbles, so there's features within that will animate it.
Okay.
And what's the material of the actual slope surface of that?
So the material you'll interact with, the material you see, leaning towards an aggregate surface, like a stone aggregate. Generally, it's dark, not always black, but the dark surfaces help the water be better displayed. You get some aeration, so you get that white water effect over it. And that's kind of what you see in our model over there. It will all have, an underlying waterproofing layer, so we don't lose water out of this feature. Everything is recirculated, everything is sanitized and filtered within our vault. This shows you some details. So the only areas we really have what might be more of a traditional basin, like you'd see in a fountain, is on these areas that are flanking the podium at the front where the events would take place. So we do have some vertical jets there, pumped in a more traditional way. They have some lighting adjacent to them. These are not, they're gently animated. The rows of jets are grouped so that we can have some varying height, but really not so much like a Bellagio type show, but much more of an ambient. And this a preliminary look at what's in the equipment room, very traditional.
I just have a couple of questions. Do you have a detail of how you're treating the actual edge where it needs planting?
We do have a detail in here.
I was just curious how you handle that.
Yes.
So what we'll generally do is have an upstanding curve, and that contains the water. I do believe on the outside edge, we're looking at a thin metal banding so that we can have
Is this
less.
helpful at all?
So we'd be reading,
So here?
a curb that projects up.
Well, for instance, here,
Yeah.
you can see this is on the grass side. So you have the planting here. We have a coping edge there, basically, that's
And
over this
that's
pool.
stone.
So you would see it as a band of stone, of granite, or, a darkened, permanent stone.
And how will these, just in general, that, since uplighting is prohibited in this area
Mhm.
of any kind, how,
Well,
are you playing around with different ideas to, illuminate things that would typically require uplighting?
So we have looked at the code limitations as far as the lumen levels, and we would state that, as well as the color temperature requirements.
That's not what you asked.
But that's, it's just uplighting, period.
Anything pointing up?
Anything pointing up.
That's our wasn't.
That's our
local
local
side.
requirement.
It's an excellent question. They're pretty, very tiny, like with LEDs, but the thing is glass, not for, you're not in anything.
Okay, that's good, thank you.
Okay.
What is that? So if you look straight down, you can't see the light?
Well, you see it at a stance,
The uplighting doesn't mean anything pointed solely vertical. It means ground mounted lights that are pointed upward. So.
It can be seen from the top.
Yeah, and so you have to be kind of careful. I mean, if you have something, I've seen some very limited but creative ways of getting around it. But as soon as we hear uplighting, we get very concerned because it's not, it's generally not feasible or permittable.
And there is.
Very challenging.
There's a local group, that has published information on the local night sky compliance requirements. And they also have a very active volunteer group to make sure that all projects comply once they're built.
We'd love to talk to them.
Yeah, this is just,
I mean,
we're just throwing it out there.
Yeah, absolutely, we
Heads up.
intend to comply with all of the requirements.
Yeah.
If I might actually nickname these things water flows. They're not thinking about flowing water.
I understand what you're trying to do. We're just saying that this could be an issue, so.
I appreciate that, thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions?
With the pathway lights, looks like the illustration showed them kind of glowing.
The pathway lights as well, yeah, so the pathway lights will work with the landscape architects and the building engineers on what's provided.
Ellen?
We saw one slide that showed an event where people were, and that's like a semicircle on the lower left. Are any of these events going to be at night?
Only within what's allowed. Ethan could probably answer that.
Yeah, so we plan primarily for our program to be sunset is kind of the latest the wedding would go. Our operating hours are all in the daytime. Before sunset, we don't particularly plan on doing anything at night in terms of our regular operations or for our special events.
Okay, so the lack of any, in that drawing, the lack of any lighting or walking around was not missed, it's just you're not going to need.
Correct, yes, we're not going to be doing nighttime events. Also for safety, obviously, when you're stuff at night. Zaca Station is an unlit road, so it's a little dangerous.
Okay, all right. Public comment?
If you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand.
I don't think we have anybody here.
Yeah, we do not have anyone online either.
Okay.
So no public comment.
Okay, deliberation. Who wants to start? Okay, thank you, Chris.
Beautiful model, by the way. Thank you for spending the time. I know that's a big effort. It feels to me almost like when the Getty Museum opened and they had those stunning fountains where unfortunately people kept falling into constantly. I'm not seeing any railing on any of those, so that is something I'd like to address because there are a lot of permits and codes that deal exactly with that. The direction, I think, of water spraying in a very windy area might be a concern to the guests. So I feel that should be also addressed. And those are my comments for now.
Excuse me.
Is that your comment?
No. I need to get my comments and get moving. Denise?
Yeah, real quick. I appreciate that you're introducing water into a kind of a really hot environment, and I love how you put the trees in there. And I think it would be really fun, honestly, to be attending a wedding and then be doused by water. And I think it would be, this is me. And especially if the bride's coming down into this lovely spot and become doused with water, it would be pretty fun. So I appreciate that you have kind of added a cooling feature to that space. Yes. Oh, and the one thing is, water comes out of the wine glasses, right? They bubble. Is that bubbles up? Okay, that's what I thought. I also appreciate those little seating areas out of them. That's my comments.
Well,
So is there lighting in the goblets?
There is.
So that would be LED from the bottom up.
Yeah.
So you just get a
Internal.
glow out of the water.
It's gonna be toadstools.
And then, just out of curiosity, is the event space facing like due north? Is that correct?
Southwest.
Southwest.
Southwest, southwest.
Right towards the freeway.
Oh, people might be seeing
Is that your comment?
No, they can't. We have a site visit.
No other comments from that. Very interesting.
Alan?
Well, I think it's a great project. I think I like the way it looks. I think it'd be a great venue. But I do want to go on record with something that Denise said. I do not want to throw cold water on new marriages.
Can I go? I commend the vaulting of the equipment. That's great. I think, well, first of all, I laughed when I opened this because I finally realized why you're doing the spiral stair. I couldn't figure that out the entire time on the previous BAR case. I think the layout is nice and it's a little unexpected because it's not aligned with the building, which is more or less symmetrical, and it keeps it dynamic. One quick note on the wine goblets, and I don't want this to sound patronizing, but when you're usually in the world of artistic expression, when you're gesturing to something, like when you're talking about the wine goblets toasting the couple as an expression, normally you don't copy it literally. And, unless you're Andy Warhol taking a Brillo box and saying, this is my art now. I would like to see maybe a little bit more nuance in that. I love the hand-blown local glass detail and all that, and I think the majority of the board does, but maybe there's a way to, make it a little bit less on the nose. Not saying you have to, it's just food for thought. And what else did I have? I like that, you're trying to cool down a hot area, and I think visually it's an appealing project.
Okay. I would echo the comments already made. I'm curious to see what trees you want to introduce there. So next time, come back with that and just a little more information, I think. And as you're going through the project, of course, you will be developing that. So it'll be interesting to kind of see the direction it goes in. I think everybody else hit all of my comments. But I'm not with Denise. I like being cool, but I don't like being wet. So that's just me. But
Wait until you go to a wedding on September 10th.
I've done that. My wedding reception was September 10th. At Montanaro Farms in Los Olivos, and it wasn't like that.
You were there.
Yeah, so, yeah, it was warmish. But, yes, it was very warm.
She can lay down and make it longer.
Yeah. But,
I just.
Yep, go ahead.
First of all, just WET has always done incredible work. So I have no worries about the execution of a feature of this complexity with you guys. But I am really interested because I know it's not going to end up like this, but it could feel a bit like developments in, say, Arizona, where there's a lot of water and then bang, you're into a native environment that is obviously not water friendly. And so I think seeing this as a natural oasis where maybe this whole thing over a century grew out of a seep, and the transition between these what I'm assuming would be wetland environments to sort of the native oak savanna, and the subtlety of that. I will be really excited to see that happen. And then just what Andrew was kind of referring to, that maybe it's, not completely literal, but I can't help it. I'm sort of an art junkie, having a slightly wilder expression of that than just a bigger blast. More of that.
More.
Yeah.
More of the artistic interpretation.
Yeah, I mean.
And less the literal.
We've always loved Dale Chihuly, but it doesn't have to be literally Dale Chihuly. I think there's some new guys out there. I'd love to see like a glass artist actually take this project, get commission an artist to really take this to that kind of level. So that's it.
Yeah, well, but yeah, and it's kind of an echoing of
So the bulldozers are there, so we'll be watching.
Okay. How do you want to see them?
Well, it doesn't say, it just says review.
Yeah, this is conceptual.
So this is a revision to
Right.
what we've already approved.
How's it agenda?
Or it's just conceptual. It's the first time, yeah.
Yeah, it's conceptual.
Wait, it's like preliminary, final, and consent?
Yeah. How do you want to see it come back?
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, preliminary, final, and consent.
Okay, with the planner memo, we're comfortable with you turning preliminary, final, and consent, so that's the best you could get. Okay. But we will be looking very sharply at the lighting and various other things. So you want to be very specific in your details about how that's going to be enacted so that you avoid that no uplighting kind of thing. Okay. And then the other things that are listed. Yeah. And you will need a full lighting plan. So. All right. Take care. Landscape plan, lighting plan, and keep going.
Feel free to look at the model while it's still here.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? If hours of operation are not at night, I'm just asking, I'm not pushing. No, if hours of operation are not at night, how much importance do we put on outside lighting?
It's you're conflating two things. One, he didn't say that events wouldn't be at night, that they wouldn't be doing this water treatment.
Do you want to put that on mute?
Hours of operation. operation, they may be open, which is white until 9 o'clock, for which they would need lighting. So, there's two things going on. Okay. Item number 4, 25R130 Buttonwood LLC, single family dwelling and accessory structure. Strawberries not my thing, that's why.
No, you have, they're so good.
He's now trying to pull forward.
I'm gonna pause this for a second, okay?
Yeah.
For the week.
Okay, so we're gonna pause real quick while they clear their model out and everything else, and we'll be right back. So don't freak out with the disappearance of the video. Thank you. I'm with Denise, I needed to stand up.
That's good, isn't it?
We're on. All right, we know where this is, we're familiar with the previous project, let's pedal to the metal.
Great, I'm Dan Weber, architect from Ancap Architecture. We've got Tony from my team on Zoom who's going to present the project, as well as our landscape architect, Jay Warner. We're here today for conceptual review. We're proposing a new single-family home and an accessory dwelling unit on the parcel. This is a home for the owner, for the property owner. There's currently not a house on the, there's not a livable house, I should say, on the property. So,
Can I advance?
Tony's going to present the project, but I do want to say we proposed a house that's agrarian in style to be compatible with the agrarian materiality and architectural character of the valley. And if I was going to emphasize nothing else, it's privacy. We don't want to see neighbors to the greatest extent that we can avoid seeing neighbors. We don't want neighbors to see us to the greatest extent that we have made and will continue to make the best efforts to screen the property as long as they screen neighbors and be very consistent to the needs of the proposed development from especially the highway.
Okay.
So I think, I'll let my team take it away.
Awesome, thanks, Dan. So just to reiterate a couple items. So as you all are familiar with, the site in question is approximately 107 acres. Of that, we had previously addressed more or less the lower acreage, and now we're looking at a single-family residence being implemented at the upper portion of the site, as indicated in that previous slide. That's fine. We can keep going if you prefer. We'll come back to that site planning.
That one?
I think the one thing to note, as Dan mentioned, is our clients do desire a fair degree of privacy. So we've taken efforts to pull the location of the residence away from what would generally be kind of considered a more typical site at the peak or the prow of that high location. So instead, we've pulled that back, and we've chosen this location intentionally due to the fact that the current vineyards at this area are no longer able to produce, so that they're essentially dead vines and will need to be removed anyway. So if we keep going, we can look quickly at just kind of the context of the area. So looking at the immediate context, as you're all familiar with, I won't spend time here. Very agrarian in its nature, with wine production up above and the existing barn, which the character of that I think is quite important, and we'll come into the context as we move on. We have some neighboring context. I think probably this building across the street is one of the more charming and yet not visible buildings. But our immediate neighbors, if you go to the next slide, highly visible, and with, I would say, a fair degree of different stylistic interpretations as we look at the neighboring buildings. So for us, I think we are looking at something that is intended to be, one, much more agrarian, and two, single story and low slung, as a means of kind of a more subtle interpretation and occupation of the site. And then Jay, I'll pass it over to you to walk us through kind of our landscape strategy, and then I'll dive back into the architecture.
Great, thank you. Hi everyone, Jay Warner here, landscape architect for this project. Continuing on with the discussion of site context, but starting to zoom in specifically on our actual project site. Looking back at that last image, I think there's just queuing in on what's around the space and starting to talk about the direction we're trying to head in for this site. I think we're really trying to, though, acknowledge the existing grapes and vineyard that are behind us. We're trying to embrace and stitch together the surrounding adjacent landscape. Overall, I think at a high level approach, like you see here, we almost don't want to feel like we were ever there, especially from a landscape perspective. So when looking at, together starting to study the forms of the building, the layout, as Tony had alluded to, the location within the hillside, feathering these buildings in with subtle grading and subtle gestures in the landscape by building off of the existing oak groves that exist in these gulches, pulling them up onto the hillside, and trying to leave as much landscape as we can back to that natural grassland. So it's really about trying to feather in and integrate with that surrounding landscape. As you start to zoom in now, looking closer into the space, again, we're trying to pull the natural through the existing site. It's not a domestic feeling garden. It wants to feel natural, though there'll be intentional planting, seasonal planting in and around the house, and a fair amount of hardscape. It bleeds out, and it has that softened edge to kind of blur the lines from where the wild meets the intentional. As you then start to look at some of our materials at that Nick sheet, just as far as overall palette goes, we're going back to this organic, we're talking gravel roads, crushed gravel paths, at our primary circulation, organic materials such as a stone cobble, as we're hinting at here, so we can really have that crenulated edge that feathers into the landscape, not real architectural, crisp and modern, a lot more organic. And then as you start to get into the palette of the planting as well, similar to what our approach was for the downhill site, it's embracing this kind of intentional meadow at the greater extents of the property, and then builds up more perennial natives and honorary natives in and around the house in large drifts, more or less. That's really the quick high level direction and kind of palette. And we could dive into the specifics now, or we could jump into the architecture and then continue to zoom in on the landscape.
Okay. Let's go back to the architecture. We'll just keep going.
Great. Thanks. Jay hit on a point which I think is really relevant, which was this notion of trying to create something that feels like it could have always been there, essentially an untouched landscape in many ways. And so, again, leaning back into that very agrarian vibe and utilizing local stone, pre-weathered wood. We would be looking at probably an aluminum door system just for cost purposes, and then a aged corrugated metal with accents of untreated raw steel as accents within that. So a very muted palette, I think, which would look particularly stunning in the summer months when everything's a bit more beige. Then zooming in to the actual layout, looking at opportunities to break down the mass, bulk, and scale of the structure here. So kind of these two wings, which are essentially considered as more or less like barn structures. So we could envision those as two existing barns with a connecting piece made out of stone. So picking up on some of those elements from the landscape, stone walls, and then creating a communal space, which would also be sheltered from the wind. It's quite windy up there if anyone has spent any time. So creating a sheltered pool area in the middle.
Okay.
Yep. Longer eaves on the south for sun protection to reduce solar gain. And then down in the lower right corner is the ADU.
Which we do not look at.
Correct. Elevation drawings. So here again, a simple kind of just pitched roof agrarian structure. As I mentioned, trying to break down the scale of the building. So, conceptually it looks like two separate buildings, but then we have this stone element in the middle that allows for thermal connection and access in between.
Okay.
This is the north elevation. So again, simple set of materials broken up by deep recessed windows, overhangs to allow for protection from solar gain. And then here you can see we have fireplaces in both structures. Those will be kind of a concrete element to help root the buildings into the landscape. West elevation, very, very similar. Again, same kit of parts. Here you can see off to the right the kind of breezeway to the south, allowing for additional solar protection and a nice area to enjoy those sunsets. And very similar to the north elevation again, kind of just you see the linearity of these buildings broken up and punctuated by openings here. And then we can probably go back these, but just the use of natural material throughout the site, since this is the ADU.
Okay. And the primary difference is just stone cladding.
It's a materiality difference. That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
That looks like it.
That's it.
All right. Anybody have any questions? Very quickly for the.
I'm just, the site is essentially flat, where that block of lines is.
It's gently sloping.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's, the valley floor is flat, and there's kind of like a bluff almost, and then it's up on that elevated plane where all the lines are. The elevated plane is like these rolling fields of lines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next question?
Overall height?
Overall height of the structure?
At its peak, the highest point would still be under 20 feet, and I'm talking about the chimney at the highest point there.
I think we were talking about the peak of the roof here.
Yep. So it's 9 feet to the lowest portion, 15 to the peak, and then we have an additional 2 feet for the chimney as required by code.
All right. Any other questions?
Tony, you said something about thermal access. I thought that was interesting. Could you describe that again? Sorry.
Just with regards to thermal gain, is that the comment you picked up on? Yeah. So on the south of the site, right, where we have kind of like it's southwest facing, we want to make sure that we prevent too much solar gain, particularly in the summer months, right? These buildings can get very hot. So where we have glass, we've introduced an additional colonnade to the south of the building to help extend that roof, which will help prevent solar gain during the summer months and allow a little bit during the winter months to help cut down on, heating costs in that area.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Brett, is that technically an attached pool cabana in the eyes of the county?
Because of the roof?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
It's
one?
not heated space between.
Yeah.
Correct. It's just a roof.
Which is it? It's
In the upper left corner
it's-
is the area in question.
It's detached or attached.
No, the space in
In
between.
between.
You see there's an outdoor space.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Public comment? I think we have some public comment.
And FBS,
If you're here to speak on this item, did you?
just architecturally, is it two houses connected with an attic?
So the way public comment works is, you need to spit a speaker slip and I'll call your name and you come up here and can make your comments.
It doesn't matter.
I've forgotten your name, ma'am.
Catherine?
Catherine,
Roar.
Okay.
We can answer that question.
Okay, yeah. You want to go ahead and answer that quick question that she had about the building?
Was the question, is this considered two homes? Was that the question?
Oh, is it two pieces of a house connected with a gravel path?
No, it's got a,
Well, it has a canopy.
Yeah.
no, it has
So
a
you
roof.
got a door
This is
outside.
conditioned space.
That's conditioned space. It's part of the house.
That's right.
Sorry, the house. It's enclosed.
It is enclosed. That's what they call conditioned space.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, it's all one building. So, Catherine, you want to?
Sure.
Hi, I mean, it is a lovely design. And I don't want to be the bad guy. I'm not here to upset anyone or hurt anybody's feelings. I just want to note that it looks a lot like the main building of a future hotel. And I want to flag that because we get a lot, as the general public, we hear a lot of, it's too early in the process to raise this. Oh, now it's gone through this whole process, it's through planning, and we're just picking out doorknobs. And it's too late in the process and you didn't raise it. So I'm gonna raise it, so it's in the record, and I'm gonna keep raising it.
Okay.
It doesn't look agricultural and it doesn't look like a private home. And my concern is that we know the history of this property and we know that it was owned by TMC Simpatica Hospitality Joint Venture. A year ago, I checked, and this property is now owned by an individual, but the individual is the co-founder and the board and investment committee member of TMCH, the hospitality financier. So I'm just gonna call it as I see it. I suspect this is story of ownership by an individual is little more than a story intended to create a lower profile to get this through entitlements. And so I just really encourage you, Buttonwood Ranch LLC, it's a member managed entity managed by Mr. Ferraro, if that's how you pronounce his name. I have the registration documents. He's welcome to own a house and want to live in it in the valley. I just question whether we have context that lends credibility to that position. And I really encourage you and everybody else involved in this process to just keep an eye on this project, because we're going to end up with another Zaca Creek, but with permission, if we aren't careful. And I'm sorry again to be that lady. I'm just flagging.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're entitled to your. Okay.
Can I ask a question? Am I right to paper real quick?
You have to write the paper. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can write it after the fact, but
Okay, my question is, where's the main entrance going to be? Well, off what?
it comes. I believe their access is through Alamo Pintado. Let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Do they have a back entrance?
Oh, there it is. It looks. Can you speak to that, Brett? Or yeah, really quickly. How do you get back here?
The main entrance to the property will be and is what it is today.
Which is
right off of Element. It's right there.
right. So to access this residence, you would be coming along this.
Drive in, drive up the hill, drive across the road.
So
they're
it's
not going to be using the sand hill.
Correct.
okay. All right. Thank you. All right, board deliberation. Any comments?
Can we go back and look at that, the site plan for the house?
Site plan for the house. Let's do this one. Would you prefer the other one?
No, that's right.
Okay.
So, two questions. I'm concerned about the ridgeline compliance. Are we there? Are we under there, or are we above there? That's a question. And somebody lives on a hill with a possibility of a pool going west with a tree on the west in a very, very windy neighborhood area. I think all those leaves are ending up in the swimming pool. There needs to be something, if you want to have the pool sitting there, that is a huge problem. That's the question.
Okay. Next. What?
I have no comments.
Denise?
The only thing maybe if you guys could consider, when you're looking at that driveway entrance, if you could interrupt it with a tree, it's going to be pretty warm out there. It's a large expanse of either paving or whatever material it is.
Which one are you talking about? You talking about?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the site plan shows it a little different.
Yep.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have to improve the existing road
for fire
going up there?
Yeah, we'll have to, the fire department requires that we pave above slopes of 10%. So those portions that are above 10% will have to.
You don't have to widen the existing road at all?
We haven't gotten to that level of detail yet, but not much. There might be some portions where it's 11 and we need to get it to 12 feet, but we're not going to do substantial reconstructions in driveways.
Okay.
Okay, and just when it comes back,
That, yeah, that needs to be in there. So an overall plan showing where you're improving, any grading you're doing, what material it's gonna be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
We'll get there.
You also need some congruence. I had noticed also that this plan, this access here is very different from what is shown on the architect's plan, which kind of comes in, straight in. But just kind of, guys all agree on what you're doing. I know it's conceptual, I get it. But as you move forward, just kind of get all the plans in congruence with, you know, where you're putting trees, because there isn't a tree out here. So it's just a question. I think it'll all start to meld together as we move forward, but that's a note for the minutes. Roll?
No comments.
Nope.
One really minor thing, I would like to look out for on the next submission is carports on the bluff there. Depending on the design of it, there's the risk of, you know, the cars pulling in there and you see the lights all the way down Alamo Pintado.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's just one small thing to look out for, but
Okay.
I support the sizable scale.
And how do we want to see them returned? Preliminary. Come back to preliminary. Okay.
Great,
All right.
thank you.
Okay. Nicole, we're under a time crunch, so if you would,
Make it snappy.
well, as soon as Teresa lets you share your screen, let's get on with the minutes. I know they were complicated.
You quit? No.
Can I have permission to share, please?
Yeah, it's not letting me.
Oh,
Are you on the right one? Because the host is one of those. Stop the share.
Bye. For having us.
There you go.
Oh, pretty hairs.
Oh, come on. The best looking one in here.
Okay. Is this number 2?
Yeah, should we work backwards?
Project complies with applicable regulations. Stormwater access. Okay.
sorry, give me a minute. It won't let me unmute. Okay.
All right. We're just reading them.
Let me know when you want me to scroll down.
We will. D, site, you should change that to site plan must show neighboring structures. Because that's part of the requirement for the BAR submittal. It does, right there in number 6.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, are we ready for scroll?
Oh, yeah.
I think it needs more bemoaning.
All right. I think you're gonna get it.
I see the word disappointing.
Provide square footage.
We could have little asterisks.
Oh,
Disappointed.
Did,
Devastated.
whoa, number 9, guys. Did we ask for
I
a
did.
medic? You did, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the word of the day.
Okay.
On the record.
Provide details of the, I just missed it, sorry. Amongst the whole. Provide details of the- I think, yeah, okay. Provide a solution.
Did we talk, on number 11, did we talk about the dimensions? They gave the square footage of the tower, but
We don't know heights.
No.
All right, so number 11, I think you should say,
that was intent.
Plans and photos.
it should be plans, provide the following information for items not included in this submittal package, i.e. pool fencing, clock tower, and what was the third one? It was the wall, I think, on the southern side.
But in your submittal package, I just want to see all together and they can label them. All structures with dimensioned elevations, all four sides.
Okay, well, hold on a second. Provide the following information not included in the submittal package. Pool fencing, no, it's not the photo simulation. What we want is,
I said photo sims from all.
you said photo simulations, but the site with the requirements are plans, elevations. A photo simulation is an extra. I want them to meet the minimum first. Sorry. So it's not that, yeah. So,
It's cost so
And everything goes to the bottom.
This will be done by
dimension, elevation, both sides of
Yeah.
buildings. So you just eliminated the pool fencing and the screening wall. Oh, the pool fencing's there, all right. What about the clock tower?
That's what I mean.
Not a building?
Okay, and dimension
And
elevation,
what
wall side of the building, for example, including the clock tower.
All structures.
Yeah. Just wanted to be pedantic. So no, that's.
I just changed it to structures just in case.
And then you can tack on a photo simulation of the clock tower from all directions would be nice. You can add that to the end of number 11.
We use the word nice.
It's required.
Would be helpful.
Helpful,
No.
yes, nice.
I don't think he wanted to require it. Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, or is it required?
Yes.
Okay, well, you just
If we
shot
don't
their
require it,
application
they
up
won't do
huge. Okay, all right.
So,
So, is required.
I like the Alan said, Alan.
Just leave it there, just like that. You can add it to the end of number 11 if you want, or you can leave it there. Views from Hanada Park Roadway are public views. Please provide documentation and further information of how these view sheds are being addressed by the design proposed and existing.
What are, sorry, do you want like
You're gonna make me
photos?
say that again, aren't you?
Do you want photos from those roadways towards the project site?
I'm leaving it open to them how they do it. I want them to show us information that addresses it, which is why I went to that, what I just said before.
Viewshed analysis and design response.
Go say it again.
Provide photo sims with viewshed analysis and design response.
Okay, that gets it.
Lighting, where's lighting?
Whoa.
No, I know that was an accident.
Yep, okay. I think the word used was egregious.
Yes. I want that in.
Which one was that?
Unconscionable.
15, yes. Well,
I think I used the word outrageous.
it was egregious was used several
By law.
times.
Yeah, I said that'll work.
That was Lowell's word. We need to know the word.
Number 18, that's in reference to We're setting this aside because we stuck a bunch of crap in the encroachment or in the setback. Is that what that's about?
Yeah, the green box.
What they've essentially done is said, we're not going to build under this oak tree because we can't build under it anyway. So it seems like a big G. I think it's basically what we were saying. It isn't, they aren't giving up anything. It doesn't appear to to actually be an offset to the impacts of the violation of the side yard setback. That's, I think, what.
I was wondering if that ordinance applies to any zoning, commercial or residential.
I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
Doesn't apply to any project I've ever worked on.
Yeah, this was really new to me. That's why I said, I have no idea what this is.
What is the simple man's explanation? Give it to me.
What?
Give me the simple explanation. I know what you're talking about, but so they built something in encroachment and you have to put an equal number of square feet?
Well, they're dedicating it, saying, we're not going to invade this area, but it's under an oak tree and they can't anyway.
It's a no-build area, but
It's labeled.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly, but it doesn't actually, it doesn't actually, to me, materially, it's not an offset
I
for.
get it, but does the rule specifically say?
I have no idea, I've never heard of the rule.
If it doesn't, this guy's really smart as we.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
Okay. So this was all aside from what we actually said at the meeting. Let's stick to our notes, please. Does that all look good? Does that capture what we said? All right, next, Nicole, and excellent taking, my dear. That was a huge, that was really.
Thank you.
That was a monster.
I was just like, how does she keep up?
Yeah,
I don't know how she does it remotely, I really don't.
Yeah.
And provide a full lighting plan. Yep, appreciate, provided.
For number 7, I would just shorten it up to consider more nuance and wood sculptures or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought something differently. I can see people, kids running through that water.
And just rack on the glass.
Impaling themselves on broken glass. That's
I
what I
can
would
see
get.
people throwing money into them like
Yeah, there you go.
like a pond.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
beer
it's a
pond,
carnival.
wine pond.
It's wishing well.
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought of that.
After a couple glasses of wine.
Another source of
you know,
income.
And you can delete everything else after that. Thanks.
Provide a landscape plan, an updated landscape plan on the end of 8.
Then they care. Yeah.
Like actually.
And then you can say that, and then you can say incorporates the transition areas between water and the natural environment, blah, 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 blah. So you can just tack 9 on the end of 10. Or 8 on 9 on the end of 8.
Not application.
Updated landscape plan.
That's-
I'd say that incorporates transition areas.
Speaking about,
There you go. Got it. Where we can find one. Okay, next.
Because the council.
And that is well section.
No, some of the first comments I couldn't quite hear, so let me
Okay.
know if I missed.
Ensure consistent plan sheets. Carports. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all we said. And you could just say, yeah, return for preliminary. And,
99 million.
yeah, it's, that's okay. That's okay. It's what we said, so it was. Too many conversations going.
Sorry. No, I thought it was good. So
More
I
fun
checked
over
out.
here. Yeah, we're good.
I know it's more fun over here, but I'm trying to get your butts out of this hearing, so. Okay. All right, are we?
Trees in the driveway.
Yeah, but the dissonance between the two plans and what's happening, that
Did you take her down to get the two plans?
ensure consistency between same
I want to know
sheets.
about this one.
Yes, they're 15 feet.
Yeah.
They said they're not.
We always have that.
Chimneys are architectural projections.
It
No,
passes
it's-
Smith test.
They're fine. They're not gonna have any. But you might say, planner may request, compliance with hillside, documentation of compliance of hillside ridge line. How's that? It's not what you said.
That's what I meant.
Okay. Alan?
I just have to make one comment, a
Yes.
notable comment. I want to thank Nicole.
Oh, my
That
God.
one item that we had was unbelievable in the amount of note taking.
And
I
then she
think-
came back and talked about it.
Right, but
Yeah.
I think we should put her up for Nobel Peace Prize.
For her note taking?
I think the Russians should do that. Honors.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, that was above and beyond.
That was stellar. I have never seen a project like this. And I didn't say it because Lowell said it. I have never seen
No, me either.
in 27 years an as-built like that.
Wait a minute, we've never seen anything like that till Andy was.
Well.
Uh-oh. Coincidence?
The fact that they've been talking to Kathleen 2 years.
And got to that point.
That's what he said.
Yeah, well.
He said, oh yeah, we know her. We've
Anyway,
been talking to her.
this is beyond our purview.
Yeah,
This
but
has
it's
nothing to do with us.
Feels good though.
But yes, back to what you did, Nicole. That was wonderful. It was a great job of note taking, and I am so impressed.
Sorry we missed
Thank you, you guys are
Yeah.
so nice. Do these look okay?
Yes, they do. They look wonderful, my dear.
Okay, thanks.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, guys.
I'm